To the Point with Michael Williams.
Good morning. The curtain closes on the regular legislative session in Tallahassee today. Perspective on the insurance crisis, other key legislation, the highs and lows from Treasure Coast Republican State Representative Toby Overdorf. This follows my extended interview with Palm Beach County Democratic State Senator Lori Berman last week. You can find that on the To The Point page on WPTV.com. Now to Mr. Overdorf, and we began with a focus on the revised social media bill he helped shepherd through the legislature.
First of all, thank you so much for having me on and being a part of your broadcast again. As far as what is now known as House Bill 3, House Bill 3 covers both the social media platforms and looking at the basically the addictive behavior that's associated with that, the addictive various things that are with it, and then also looks at the pornography sites and making sure that minors do not have access to that without age verification. A modification to the social media site and the social media ban was basically that 14 and 15-year-olds could in fact gain parental permission to go ahead with that. And then over 16, they would be allowed to be on the platform. If in fact you are below the age of 14 and you have a social media site, the state of Florida is requiring that all of those various sites would go away, that they would not have them. And those sites are, again, with that addictive behavior algorithm.
Do you believe you've done enough on parental rights? The governor's big concern to get his signature on this, number one. Number two, speak to critics both then and in the revised edition, including a number of Democrats who worry about First Amendment concerns here.
Well, I summarily reject the First Amendment concerns because, frankly, the First Amendment is about the freedom of expression. You still have the opportunity to be able to express yourselves and gain information on other platforms. This specifically addresses the algorithms that are keeping our children online and that are keeping them addicted to this. That is what this bill is about. It is not about the expression and looking at First Amendment rights. It's more so about, again, the algorithm and that addictive algorithm associated with it. Now, to go back to some of the concerns we had before, it was a parent's choice of parental rights. So that's why we listened, and we have put in the option now for 14 and 15-year-olds to gain their permission of parents. And of course, below 13, there's already a federal law that says that children below 13 cannot have a social media account.
This is a bill you've been shepherding through the House. Why put your family man hat on just for a moment, study your legislative one? Why was it so absolutely important to you?
Well, we see today in this world, unfortunately, that social media has crept into every crevice of a family's life. You no longer have the dinner conversations. You instead have conversations around a device in many people's hands. Or you have children that are going into their rooms, and the parents no longer really have an idea or control of what is happening within that room and the influences that are getting to that child. I think that is what is so important. When you're seeing challenges that literally cause bodily harm, and these are TikTok challenges or other things that are out there on some of these platforms, this is something that the parents have zero control over. And we felt, and I felt, it was incredibly important to make sure that we give parents back a bit of control. And also we're taking care of the children of Florida. Speaker Renner and my cohort, Tyler Soroy, has been absolutely amazing in being able to bring these items forward. Tyler, of course, is up in Brevard County, and he has done just an amazing job in shepherding this through.
Want to move on, but governor's signature, you think so? Well, as much as you can guarantee anything, you think absolutely you see the governor's signature on this.
The governor has been, and his staff have been lockstep with us as we have pushed this forward. As you saw in his veto letter of House Bill 1, he said we are making a better product. House Bill 3 is a better product.
Sir, let's move on to some other topics now. Homeowners insurance. We hear about it every single day. People say we're being crushed. Democratic critics say Republicans have not done enough. People are still hurting badly. What do you say to your constituents, to Floridians in general, who say, we need more done? We can no longer afford our homeowners insurance. We're being priced out of living here.
Well, a couple of things have been done this year. First of all, the My Safe Florida program is reauthorized. Additional monies are headed towards that, another $200 million so that Floridians that are $700,000 or less, they can gain $10,000 in grant money towards improvements in their home. All somebody has to do to gain access to that is mysafefloridahome.com. And they would go to that website and get a free inspection, and also be a way to also gain the opportunity to get that $10,000. Other items that are associated with it is that we've also looked at a tax break for insurance premiums as well, and to put that forward. And then finally,
where's that stand? And I know we're coming to the closing moment.
As soon as the budget's approved, when that's approved, then that would go into effect at that point in time when the new budget rolls out. And then finally, we're also looking at, again, we've been reviewing and looking at all of the tort reform that we did this past year. And we're seeing that, in fact, that has now started to stabilize and bring down rates. And I just spoke with the insurance commissioner. There are 7 new companies that are now coming into the state of Florida. And we're seeing that additional homeowner insurance are rolling off of Citizens and rolling onto these private companies instead.
So when your constituents, and I'm sure they do, say, Representative Overdorf, we just don't know how much longer we can hang in and hold on, you say.
I say, I hear you. We are doing what we can. And let me tell you, we are pressuring these insurance companies now to do the best that we can to lower those rates. I also ask those folks, what has been the value of your home over the last 5 years? Have you seen an increase in the value of your home? What does it cost to now do repairs in your home? Are you seeing that go up? And of course, across the board, the answer is yes. And so we're seeing not only home values go up, but repair costs go up. And with that, insurance costs go up. So I think there has to be some real discussions as well. That insurance policy that you bought 10 years ago doesn't cover the same amount that your home is now worth in today's market.
Let's move on to healthcare. Senator Pasadoma, big bill this year. And I've heard a lot of bipartisan praise for it. Some concerns among Democrats say we still aren't doing nearly enough in terms of Medicaid. We'll get to that in a moment. But talk about this big healthcare legislation, what it's going to mean to Floridians.
I think the Live Healthy Act, and shepherded by President Pasadomo, is a landmark legislation that is really recognizing that we need to be providing additional services to our constituents, also recognizing that, in fact, our growing population here needs additional physicians. And so there are so many incentives in here to attract new physicians, to attract not only physicians, but also nurses, PAs across the board, so that we have that level of service to continue to go up. And therefore, that provision where we're going to bring in the public, and hopefully the public will get additional services, that's what we're aiming towards.
What kind of money are we talking about for this? And we have the money now. The budget's still relatively pretty flush. I think we're coming in, at about 115 billion on the budget. But in leaner times, will this program hold up? And am I correct on my budget numbers?
Just a little bit shy. The current budget that we have on the table is $117 billion. Okay. And provided that the governor chooses to not veto certain things, but we're about $117 billion on the budget. And yes, the provisions that were put in place for Live Healthy are items that will then continue forward. There is a bunch of money that gets the train started, but then after that, there are multiple ways that we're going to be actually allowing for that money to continue.
What else is top of mind for you this legislative session, for your constituents? What are the highs, lows, hits, and misses as far as you're concerned, sir?
Well, of course, at the end of session here, we've had, unfortunately, a major release of lake waters from Lake Okeechobee into the city of Stewart, and then heading out west as well. So again, a major concern is looking at ways that we can continue to provide relief for water and start sending additional water south and making sure that happens. With some of the areas that we have out there right now, it certainly has helped to ameliorate the problem, but it has not solved it by any means. So as a result, we're going to continue to work on that. We authorized another $700 million to head towards that, and some restoration projects there, as well as some new projects. So I think as long as we get SB 10 online in the next year here, we get some other reservoirs going.
SB 10 for people unfamiliar. SB 10.
Yes, I'm sorry. SB 10 is also referred to as the EAA Reservoir, which is a huge reservoir south of Lake Okeechobee that will take in some waters and hopefully provide some relief for discharging.
Now, it won't get online, I'm understanding, until end of decade. You're talking about the work getting underway to get to that end of decade goal. Am I correct?
Well, the work is underway currently. Our federal partners are a little bit behind the state partners here. So the state has worked very hard, and we're actually ahead of schedule, but our federal partners need to do a little catch up.
What else in terms of highs, lows, or things you wish
Well,
had
of course,
done that didn't?
I've been working on a project for human trafficking, and we're now reauthorizing a task force that works throughout the state. That is coming through and going to the governor's desk, and it has shown great results in being able to not only train folks across the state. Over the last several years, we've had well over 60,000 people that have been trained through this program and looking at the signs of human trafficking. I was able to pass some landmark legislation associated with tracking devices. You made things like Apple AirTags and things like that have been dropped into people's purses, and all of a sudden they're followed home by an individual. So this is new, actually, and we rewrote it basically because of the city of Port St. Lucie and the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office came to us and asked for some help. So we were able to write a bill specifically that dealt with this, and it's now made us the strictest state in the entire country associated with it, and some landmark legislation there. We have some other items that I'm sure you've heard about, whether it be left lane driving, which is something I know affects a lot of your commuters out there. We also are looking at a variety of other children items, such as looking at education, and Learn Healthy is another one that's out there, another acronym. My cohort, Dana Trabolsi, just north of me in Fort Pierce, has really done some fantastic work in the educational field and giving some opportunities for kids to really advance. We're looking at truancy and the truancy levels, and making sure that we're really monitoring that to make sure kids are in school. And frankly, there's just as we head towards the end of session, there's just so much here. We can get into vaping, we can get into hemp industry. There's a variety of other landmark legislation that's really come through this year.
The Florida focus on presidential politics as well, taking center stage. Brian Crowley next.